name is Sava, and I have a life update to make, and specifically about my entrepreneurial life. Today, officially on the 20th of July, I officially quit Winner, a project, a startup, an app that helps men overcome porn. And I want to walk you through the whole journey, how the whole thing happened first, what are the reasons that I quit, and what are the lessons that I took from it, so you don't make the same mistakes as I do. So enjoy. So to begin with, so the whole story starts. So for the convenience of the so for the sake of the storytelling, let's begin our journey approximately a year and a half ago. I study in the American University in Bulgaria, and we had a mandatory class in the first year, my second semester, called Academic Research Paper. It basically teaches you how to write an academic research paper, look at the different sources, peer reviewed journals, etc. Some everybody who has gone to like an American or European style of college know what I'm talking about. So, and what the interesting part is that we had a free choice of topic. And luckily, I had a great professor, Professor Spasov. Shout out to him if he watches this. He's a great educator in terms of that he gives you full freedom and full support from his side, so you can dive deep into something that really interests you. The topic I chose, unlike all my peers who have chosen whatever social media to I don't know body positivity, whatever bullshit, I chose pornography. My research topic was titled "The Psychological, the, the Negative Psychological Effects of Pornography on Males." The reason I chose this because for years back then I was not deep, but I was into the manosphere. So I've heard all the crazy stuff about pornography. I've heard all the crazy stuff about social media and testosterone and uh, all that things. And I've struggled with it myself earlier in my life. So I decided to speak out on a taboo topic because I guess it's just who I am. I'm a contrarian by myself. I don't want to follow the crowd, whatever, however that cliche would sound to anybody. But that is the case. I've written a 10-page research paper, bibliography, everything. So graded an A, and that was about the time I was going hard on my LinkedIn. So I was posting constantly. I was figuring out the building public thing on LinkedIn, different social media. So I decided they had an article section on LinkedIn, right? You can post your article basically. And I've seen one girl do it, and I say, hey, I've written something. Why not I share it? If I don't share it, it just get buried somewhere on my canvas or my drive, and it would sit forever. Nobody would ever read it. And like, let's say, not even for the sake of building public, but if somebody would read it and stop masturbating and watching porn, that would be a great benefit. Even if one person comes to think about it from now on, when I, since he or she reads it, that would be a success to me, regardless how it's gonna play out in my reputation or whatever bullshit. So I did it. I posted it a few months ago. Then on the 19th, God, on the 19th of March, uh, super random guy, some Nicholas from um, the Netherlands, texted me, "Hey man, read your article, read your research paper. I liked it. I have been struggling with it myself, and I was hoping to build something that would help men specifically and people in general overcome this addiction. Would you hop on such a project, on such a startup?" And to give you a full context of what is going on back then, like a few months ago, like March, middle to end March this year, um, I have grown whole my life without opportunities. If I had even the smallest opportunity to do whatever I want, I would do it. In school was pretty much boring to me with all the biology, chemistry, and mathematics classes. To my disgrace regarding the mathematics, but it's fine. Um, I always was opportunistic in a sense that one of the biggest failures that I could have as a person and as an individual is that I would miss on an opportunity because I'm in my comfort zone, or because I fear something, or I'm afraid of whatever, or I'm too weak, or anything, right? If I don't use the opportunity that is laid in front of me, it's always almost like this Puritan belief of opportunism, right? There's the opportunities you have in front of you are laid out by God, and it is your responsibility, and you to take it. You would do God a disservice if you not take and acquire the full potential and show what you're capable of to God. Puritan idea was heavily influenced from like last years in high school of the Puritan way of thinking and accumulation of wealth, etc., etc. And of course, I said yes. Of course, I said yes without putting a double thought into it, because I was, that was about the time that I was wanted to do something by myself, my own venture. I was in the second semester back then. I said, yeah, man, finally, finally, like something that I do in public, something that I post, finally reached a logical outcome. Somebody reached out to me because something that I've done, because of my whatever credibility, my work, and they finally offer me something that could potentially lead to something big. I mean, how can one say no, especially with my mentality? So I said, yeah. Now, to put a bit more context into that period of my life, a few months ago, it was such a hectic life filled with so much opportunity, not opportunities, so much commitments and projects on myself, and I laid out another one, this app, building this app with this brilliant guy. Still hold this opinion despite whatever happened afterwards. So I had my media company building, I have the podcast running weekly, have the classes, student government, my own social media. So all the things just piled up, and like some personal stuff going on. And I just said, yeah, let's go another one. Let's add up to another commitment, another project to this long-standing list. And so I did. The first few months, the first month or so was by Nicholas and myself. We had a couple of good calls. We haven't met in person. A bit more context about Nicholas. He's 29 years old, 20, 29, 28. He's from the Netherlands. He's doing a PhD in startup scalability and scaling. Great man, great dude, super ambitious, driven, Christian. So, and he was burning with that idea, right? He was always texting me, and I said, yeah, man, let's go, let's go. At one point, I found a guy, a developer from my university who graduated a couple of months ago and just was sitting in our town, in our campus town. And I was hanging out with him. We were at his place, it's his crib, chilling whole night. And I said, yeah, man, just hope up on our project. You're an ambitious person. I know your capabilities. Let's fucking go. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Now it's three of us. The guy I found, the developer, my friend, he's Russian, Moscow. Then gradually, his friend, our mutual friend with this developer guy, he contacted our mutual friend, and now it's four of us: two developers, me as a marketing guy, and Nicholas as a CEO, whatever. We started building, went on hackathons, did like everything, went on, almost won a couple of like local Bulgarian tournaments. It was a super interesting journey, to be honest. Paradoxical in many senses, super compelling and interesting. And if I lay out like the whole story of this project, the life is the best script writer, like 100%, and a lot of cool moments. And yeah, now I say it a bit sour, but and that gradually leads me to the kind of the end of the whole story. Like gradually, those projects that I mentioned, they just started keeping up, growing, right? Not in terms of quantity, but in terms of the amount of work and commitment and responsibility that I have to take in order to do the middle, the boring middle, right? This is called the boring middle, not to quit. Uh, and why I decided to quit exactly tomorrow. Yesterday was 19th, and I technically I made the decision yesterday. So March, April, May, June, July. 4 months exactly. 4 months, and I quit. Uh, the reason I quit, there are several, to be honest. To begin with, there are several. I want to go one by one, briefly. Not don't want to overwhelm you with some unnecessary details and uh, inside baseball. Um, I didn't feel that project as mine. First, because it was inherently Nico's idea. He was building. He was like he literally texted me the other day that he was constantly thinking about it. Every second he's not working, he's thinking about this project. I couldn't say myself. I couldn't say the same about myself. I have other projects, especially like my media company, the thing that I grow from scratch, from the very like single like podcast one man army a year ago, and I build and I build and I do a team and I think about it and I really understand how is it to be fired up by your idea. But I don't feel the same way about Winner. I feel the same way about Yapping Americano and about Americana media, the way Nicholas feels about Winner. I understand that, and I feel you, man, but it's not mine. The first thing. The second thing is our technical team. Without going much into details and drama, it's just I was not satisfied with the scale that our business was building from the technical side. Not putting away the responsibility from myself and from Nicholas and from the whole entity of ours, but of course, we should have, as co-founders, we should have taken. I should have taken more responsibility and said, "Yeah, guys, this is what you should do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it by the next week, whatever." And our mistake with Nicholas was that, guys, improve. Like we put too much emphasis on autonomy, right? On this way of thinking that if you want to do something, you have to take your own responsibility. That was not the case, specifically with the technical guys. And I acknowledge my mistake. I acknowledge like the whole situation. I don't shift any responsibility. It's on me, and I take it. It's on me. So that was the second reason. The third reason was that I just, it was. I wasn't committed. I mean, is it a root or a cause, right? It's a question. I was not committed. But I was not committed because I didn't really believe what our mode is, what our ICP is, all the technicalities and all the like. I was marketing and I need to nail down those things, but I didn't because I was honestly shuddered by what are we gonna do. I was super, I don't know, out in the gray about everything, and it just felt too much. And I have to do my other stuff, my other projects, which is the fourth reason, or the first fourth, right? So, and Nicholas noticed that I wasn't doing much about Winner. I wasn't texting in the Telegram chat or whatever, and he said it outright. Man, what's going on? And I said what I thought. I don't feel enthusiastic about this project anymore. Sorry, man. I I I'm all in for the idea, for the cause, to be exact. Fighting pornography, fighting this David versus Goliath, David versus Goliath story, right? We fighting the multi-trillion-dollar industry of pornography and this whole thing, and but I didn't want to do it anymore. I burned out for this idea specifically, not for others, for other ventures of mine, but for this idea specifically. And I texted him today that, man, those are the things that made me quit, and I quit. Sorry that it happened to you. I know you want to continue. All power to you, man. I will support you, but I cannot longer be a part of this project. I'm sorry. I really am sorry, but I have to quit. That's it. How I feel about it? I feel bad. I honestly feel bad, and partially because of the like the sunk costs fallacy. We put so much effort. Me specifically, Nicholas put like a much more into this project as any of other co-founders. Me and the two other technical guys, but me as well. I went to these hackathons. I went to these competitions. I did pitch. I did research. I did the work. I did have numerous calls and meetings with people like psychologists and VCs, but I was not entirely genuine, and I realized it, and I feel bad, and I feel bad. I feel that I quit, that I'm a quitter, that I am a loser, in a way. But on the other hand, I do realize that that was the right decision. I do realize that that was the right thing to do, despite my emotions, despite how how fucked up the whole situation is, man. They say killing a startup, killing your own startup, is like killing your own baby, and you don't want to give up on that stuff. And that's fucking true. I don't. Although I wouldn't say I was committed 100% at any point of doing the startup, I would still say that I am sour and I feel bad, but that was the right choice, I feel like. So the lesson: commit. Commit to things and say no rather than saying yes most of the times. This, and it's super counterintuitive to such an opportunistic person like me. We're going back to the beginning. The way I was raised, the way I was in this on the campus and everywhere in my life, I was always seeking opportunities. And an opportunity just came to me, ready, and said, "Man, just do it." But I didn't account for one simple thing. I had other things on my plate, and I just said yes irresponsibly in an immature way. This is the maybe at the core of it. That was immature that I said yes in the first place, or that I said yes in the first place and I didn't commit afterwards, and I didn't fell in love with that idea, and I didn't. However, I wanted to. However, I wanted to put my effort. I didn't, and I say that outright. If that makes me a criminal, let be it. I say the truth here. I don't get the polished stuff, and I don't like the polished stuff. I like the authenticity, and I share that with you. But I feel lighter right now. I know, like, it hasn't fully processed yet in my mind and like in my life, but it's like one of the things just fell off your shoulders, right? A huge weight just disappeared out of my shoulders. One project gone. How you feel about it? You feel sour because whatever, or you just keep on and learn from your lessons and don't commit the same mistakes ever again. I chose the second path. I don't want to sit here, oh no, I'm a loser or whatever. Fuck that. Fuck that. I did my decision. I take full responsibility for who I am, what I believe in, and what I commit to. And I commit to this and I don't commit to the other. That may be a mistake, right? I understand it. This may be a mistake because in half a year, winner could be hitting $300,000 ARR, super successful success story from the Balkans or whatever. I take that. I wish all success to Nicholas if he stays with this team of ours, of theirs. Fuck. If he stays in the team, if the team survives, great. If just Nicholas and his ideas survive, great. And if he finds other team members, I wish him all success and all support, truthfully. But I'm no longer a part of this. You know, a path of a successful entrepreneur is paved by dead projects and dead startups and saying no and saying yes. Today was a big day for me. I was thinking about it for a while, for a few weeks now, to be honest. Not for a few days, for a few weeks. and I've spoken about it, and I've written my journal about it, and all the stuff. And I came to the conclusion that that's it. Now I have to focus on my stuff. I have this quitting worth it, so it's not filled by a void, by mindless, uh, like sacrificing my time for some bullshit, but for things that I really care about. So this freeing of resources and mental thing and time would actually go to something productive, something that I really value. So that was the life update, a big one. Uh, yeah, that's it. That's it.